I'm making the waistband smaller by taking in the side seam, dart, and center back. First fitting. Start by trying on the pants and identifying where the adjustments are needed. If there's excess fabric at the waist, use a single pin to mark the center back or side seam, depending on what's more accessible. Confirm there's enough ease at the waist by sliding your fingers along the inside of the waistband. Tools and materials needed: sewing machine, thread and bobbins, chalk, friction pen or chalk pen, pins, ruler, seam ripper or snips. Preparing alteration. Mark the placement of the pin with either a chalk or friction pen. Mark the pin's location on the waistband for reference. Then mark down the measurement between both marks. Then figure out if you're able to take the full amount from center back. You might find the amount you want to take affects the pocket placement. In this case, you'll need to evenly distribute the amount, possibly by modifying or adding darts. If the full amount of the adjustment can be removed from the center back, mark it with a ruler, drawing a nice line towards the crotch. Taking this much out, I would generally use a curved ruler. Let's begin by removing the tacking along the waistband. Remove the stay stitching from the back pocket. Remove belt loops. If it gets damaged or is already damaged, like this one since these pants have been altered before, you can repair it by ironing a small piece of fusible on the inside of the waistband or where it's needed. I'm making the waistband smaller by taking in the side seam, dart, and center back. This means I'll need to remove a section of the waistband starting from center back and continuing beyond the side seam by about an inch. By pressing the seams flat, it'll make it easier to mark and sew the seams. After you marked your alterations, it's time to sew. Here I'm sewing the side seams and the dart. Press open the side seams and pin the pocket in place. Stay stitch the pocket in place using a 1/4 inch seam allowance and reattach any belt loops. Don't forget to stitch the bottom fold of the belt loops to the pant leg. Reattaching the waistband. Pin and sew the waistband using the original seam allowance. Sew the waistband, then the center back, separately. This will make adjustments in the future easier. As you can see here, my waistband is longer than my pant leg, but I'm not going to cut off any excess. This will allow flexibility for future alterations. This is what the pants should look like after you've attached the waistband. Then we're going to move on to sewing the center back seam. Press the seam allowance up into the waistband, then pin the center back. I like to pin at the stitch line horizontally. This will ensure that the seams line up. Sew along the center back line that was marked earlier. When you're done stitching the center back seam, remove the original stitch line and press the seam allowance open. Fold over the waistband, pinning on the seam line and lightly pressing the waistband before stitching in the ditch. Tack the top of the belt loops to the top edge of the waistband. Last but not least, tack the inside edges of the waistband down for a more polished look. And there you have it. Your suit pants are altered to perfection. Remember, practice makes perfect, so don't be afraid to try these steps at home. If you enjoyed this tutorial, give me a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe for more fashion-forward advice. Drop a comment below if you have any questions or tips. Until next time, happy sewing!